and studied political science. And then I went to Capital Law School. And I also did an LLM in tax law. So that was kind of my specialty. However, when you have as many children as I have, you have a tendency to have to just kind of do your own thing. So I've used my law degree in business. My husband is a CPA and owns a tax business, and I do consulting with him. I'm kind of, my superpower is ideas. I do a lot of fundraising, and I've worked closely with the autism community over the years with Dr. Arnold out at the Nisonger Center, brought many people to his program and research. So it's just kind of what I do. It's my passion.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Commissioner Levis.
I don't have any questions, but thank you for your willingness to serve.
So you mentioned your superpowers ideas. Can you tell us a story about an idea that came to you and how you turned that into action and what the result was?
Well, I have a fine art gallery in Hebron, Ohio, so that kind of should say enough. So I've been in Architectural Digest twice this year. I know how to connect with people. Whoever's in the room, I'm not intimidated by anybody, and I like to get things done. I like to make communities better. So I have two daughters currently in the house that own businesses. One is 20. We started her business at 18. She has a coffee trailer. She will be opening a coffee shop this year at age 20. My 17-year-old, we started her a cookie business, which I love to see. I know we love your wife's cookies. Living in Millersport, we've got to enjoy them over the years. And she is now in doing, all kinds of events. She's being invited everywhere. She's in Dockside Donuts, and she's 17. She's funded a trip to Spain and Italy this year through her cookies, and obviously I've been the guiding force behind that.
So one of the questions that Commissioner Levis usually asks is about time, right? The Board of Developmental Disabilities does put in a good bit of time and effort into their activities on the board. Do you find yourself with free time that you can apply to something like this?
I am a very busy person, but busy people get things done. My gallery is very much a part-time job because we have receptions, we have events, but we're not open daily. My main job is my children, but my children are slowly leaving the nest. So my youngest is a 6th grader. My next youngest is a junior. So I'm now coming into the point of my life where I actually do have some extra time. So I'd like to serve. And so again, I think I'd be an asset, if not with you, with someone.
Well, certainly appreciate your willingness. As I mentioned, I'll probably say it a bunch of times today, the people who take the time and make the effort and give their time and their talents to a board like Developmental Disabilities are part of what makes Fairfield County a great place to live, work, and raise your family. And so anyone who is interested in furthering that cause is much appreciated. I'm not sure how this is going to go. We'll figure it out in the next couple of weeks, but definitely
I would like to say that when we moved to the lake 4 years ago, we have land in Perry County that we were supposed to build on the water. And the Fairfield County community, we came from Licking County. The Fairfield County community, at least with the developmental disabilities portion, has been amazing. So much so that we decided not to move to Perry County and live on the water. We have rooted in Millersport, primarily because of everything that Fairfield County has to offer. So I'm fully vested.
Appreciate that comment. Thank you. Thanks for your time this morning. All right. Now, Becky. Welcome back.
Thank you. Good morning.
Sorry, I confused that earlier.
That's all right. That's all right. Snow on the brain. It gets to everybody.
January. So yeah, same question, right? We appreciate all that you've done in the Fairfield County area's library director, of course, you serve on. Can you tell us why you're interested in serving on the Board of Developmental Disabilities?
Sure. Just to give a little bit of my background for anyone who might not be aware of it, I moved to Fairfield County in 2004. So I've been a resident of the county for about 20 years. I have spent all of that time working at the Fairfield County District Library in a variety of positions, including youth services, branch services, and for the last 7 years as library director. Excuse me. As far as why I would be interested in potentially serving on this board, the library partners with DD in a variety of ways, and I think this would be an excellent way to strengthen that partnership even further. Certainly clients of DD come into the library, use the library. We do programs specific and general for everyone in our community, of which the clients of DD are certainly a part. And I'm excited at the possibility of furthering that mission through better understanding of the needs of the Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Cool. Commissioner Davis.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing great, thanks. How are you?
Are you serving on other boards right now?
I am. The two boards that I serve on that take up, I would say the most of my time, as far as that kind of thing, would be the United Way Board and the Rotary Club of Lancaster. United Way, I have been on the board there for about 2 years. And in addition to the meetings, monthly meetings, of course, they do have volunteer opportunities. As a board member, I try to attend as many as possible. I will say many of those are opportunities I would have done just as a contributor to United Way. So I don't feel like that is a huge amount of time over and above what I would normally do. Rotary Club of Lancaster, I do serve as the secretary for that. So that is a lot of organization of data, database work, that kind of thing, which as a librarian makes my heart happy, frankly. And I spend perhaps an hour a week on that. As far as time goes, this has come at a good time for me. I have several boards and organizations that I rolled off of in the last year and purposefully kind of left that time open on my calendar to wait for the right opportunity. Because if I have had to turn down opportunities like this before, not necessarily with DD, but I don't feel like I have the time to commit to that and do that 100%. I'm not going to agree to do it. I pride myself on doing things very well if I'm going to do them. Additionally, on a personal note, my son is 18 and graduating from high school. He is my only child, and I imagine that to be a huge amount of time that is going to be able to be dedicated other places. I enjoy our community a great deal.
Hi, Mr. President. I just want to disclose we share membership on the United Way Board. I do not perceive that to be of sufficient nexus to create a conflict, and I anticipate participating in this decision.
Okay.
Thank you for your answer to my question.
Absolutely. So I do believe that I would have the time to devote to the Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Commissioner Levesey.
So you've addressed the time commitment.
Sure.
What do you feel the most important asset you can bring to developmental disabilities?
Sure. I'm a very community-minded person and lead a very community-minded organization. I think those skills and knowledge bring a lot to any kind of board. Also, as a organization that is partially levy funded, I understand the intricacies of being both tax funded and funded locally. Looking at the organization of DD, it is similar in many ways to the library. So I have a good understanding of that process. Not to say that there aren't things that would be different, because of course I'm sure there are, but I think that I could provide valuable aspect in that way.
But thank you for that. And, again, I'd like to, you've done an amazing job as library director, and congratulate you on that. Thank you for your willingness to serve. Thank you.
So do you anticipate with these other boards that you serve on that there would be any potential conflicts between your work there and your work with the Board of Developmental Disabilities?
I don't believe so. I believe them to be complementary in a lot of ways. If there were a decision, for example, if DD was coming up before the United Way Board for funding, of course, I would need to abstain myself from that decision. Just ethically, that I think is the right thing to do. I don't see that happening a great deal. That hasn't been my experience, so I don't think that it would be an issue, but I do think it's important to keep in mind.
All right, well, I'll echo what Commissioner Levesey said. You've done a really nice job with the library. Really proud of our library system here and appreciate your efforts there and appreciate your continued willingness to serve the community. So thank you for your time today. All right, Scott Donaldson. Morning, Scott. How are you today?
Yeah,
Doing well, thanks. If you could start by telling us your story and why you're interested.
I grew up in Logan, moved to Fairfield County here in Lancaster in 2010. I've been a registered nurse since 2005. I got my bachelor's degree at Muscatine University. I've worked various hospices, 2006. Kind of end of life is kind of my passion at work. Patients that a lot of people say hospice, oh, it's so sad. We get to work with patients at the most delicate part of their life. Patients, families, always kind of wanted to serve in some other aspect other than just kind of my working in the serving the mission of hospice. My son that's currently enrolled at preschool at Forest Rose, I've seen everything Forest Rose offers, and through the Board of Disabilities, I'm like, I want to see what I can do. When I found out about this being open, I kind of wanted to jump on it just because my wife's uncle lives in Columbus. He's felt my disability as well, and just kind of wanting to serve and give back to the community.
Thank you. Mr. Davis.
I don't have a question. I just, I don't know, moved a little bit. And I want to give a shout out to my colleagues, Commissioners Fix and Levacy, in this regard. People may recall 10 or 11 years ago, when we would have appointment processes to the many, many boards that we make appointments to, we would have to go find people and kind of convince them to come be on a board, you know? And then in more recent years, I think as a result of Commissioner Fix's advocacy for service and the tremendous respect that people have for Commissioner Legacy, now we have competitive processes for almost every opening. And I just wanted you to know that, and I wanted to thank you for being with us today.
Can I make a comment?
Please.
I think it's competitive. I think we all want to better the community. I think it's not really competitive. We're all working together.
I appreciate your thoughts on that. When we have to decide down to 2 between 4, we're just going to feel a little bit the other way. But thank you. I appreciate your sentiment.
Commissioner Levacy.
And I would add to that, we've, over the last few years, we've had some amazing candidates for various positions, and in past years, that wasn't necessarily the case. And, as you do your work with hospice, I think that's an amazing organization, and thank you for your willingness to work there and do what you do. You also have the time available to dedicate to this position.
Yes, I did.
And
With timeframes, I know the meetings are monthly. Any other, I can always rearrange my schedule and my wife, so it's more than willing to help as well with our son.
So, and again, the same question, what's the number one strength you would bring to the board if you were so selected?
Strengths I have are kind of quality, kind of working within a budget, staying under budget, knowing that's being little nervous. Sorry,
You're
I
fine.
don't do a lot of talking.
You're fine.
So I would say, with knowing that it's tax-driven funded, kind of staying under budget, quality, and getting things done. In work, get this project started, it needs to get done. You know how sometimes it's always meeting after meeting. No, I want to get things done as fast and as efficient as possible.
Okay, thank you for your willingness.
So as a father of a registered nurse, I appreciate your service in that way. And I've had 2 relatives in the past year who've gone through the hospice process in the States. The people that worked with them through their end of life were amazing and made a significant impact on my entire family. So thank you for your work in the hospice community. think you're right, that, all four candidates, seems will be really well qualified. I think we couldn't go wrong in appointing any two of you. So the ask is going to be that two people that we appoint serve incredibly well. And the two people that we don't appoint, please come back. There will be other opportunities. If not within DD, there's 23 other boards that we appoint to. So I recognize this is your passion because you have a child in the program, but people with the time and the talent to serve, we deeply appreciate. So I thank you for your willingness to serve, and look forward to seeing you either on the board or back here again soon. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Finally, we have Jason Booth. Morning, Jason. Good morning. Welcome back. Happy New Year to you. Thank you for being here today. I think, we kind of know your story. Maybe the whole audience doesn't. So if you could share your story with the group and then tell us why you want to serve on ED.
Great. I've been a resident of Lancaster and Fairfield County since September of 22 when I accepted the role as CEO for the YMCA, Lancaster and Fairfield County. And prior to that, I was in Utah as the athletic director of Utah Tech University. Prior to that, I was associate AD at the Naval Academy in Annapolis. So a little bit of a change of career path, but I love it. It's such a much better pace, much better opportunity. It's my personality a lot better than college athletics did, even though it took me 20 years to figure that out. But so I'm the CEO of the YMCA. We are digging out snow right now, and we are open though. So glad to be able to be in charge of such a wonderful organization that impacts so many in this community, which is why I'm interested in this opportunity. The YMCA impacts a lot of people, and we can do more in the area to work with the Board of DD, Special Olympics, et cetera, and we're doing that. I have a passion for helping anyone and everyone in the community that needs a hand, which is why this opportunity at the YMCA was so attractive to me. And then to get more involved in the community. It's more than just my job. I want to do outside of that. How can I help provide a different perspective, different thoughts, ideas to help another entity in the community as much as I can. I too my wife and I will be empty nesters come fall. No more soccer games to travel to every other weekend or every weekend or during the week. So I'll have a lot more time to dedicate to things outside of it.
Commissioner Davis.
Yeah, I've served on a number of boards. I truly don't know the number over the last 30 years. But one thing that has seemed to be reasonably common in all of those services is that boards and directors have a relationship.
Yep.
And almost always somebody's running the show. Sometimes that's the board. Sometimes that's the director.
Yep.
Been on boards where they just sit there and do what the director says. And I've been on boards that are actually running the show.
Yeah.
Which way should it be?
I think the staff that are hired to do their job, like the director, should be the one doing the day-to-day, and the board should be advisory. And should be, if needed, can step in if there is a crisis, provide leadership, but it really should be the staff that runs the day-to-day and drives the mission of the organization with the oversight and support of the board to really provide that support for the staff because they need that.
And you're like a board policy staff execution guy?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Commissioner Levesey.
So what do you feel the strongest asset you would bring to this board?
I think an outside perspective. I don't have any children involved in the program. I wasn't. None of my family members had to be part of a situation like this. That would need some of the services of the Board of DD. But in my experience in working with all types of people in the community, from athletic director to what I'm doing now at the YMCA, I can bring a different perspective and just ask what I would say would be the dumb questions, but there's no dumb questions. It may be something nobody's even thought of, when I'm looking at it with fresh eyes. So definitely be an outsider, coming in to provide that input. But I think would be the strongest thing outside of just my attention to detail and understanding of how important it is to the organization.
And I think you've done an amazing job at the Y and being forward thinking, so I appreciate that.
Thank you. Still a lot of work to do.
Yeah. Never enough money, right?
Oh, never.
Never enough. But thank you for your willingness to serve.
Thank you.
Jason, I'll ask you the same question I asked Becky, that is, do you foresee any conflicts between, what you're doing at the Y and needs of the Y and that of the board?
No, if anything, I will steer very clear of if there is an agreement or some new partnership that we're doing with WOW, just make sure that it's above board and ethical and that everyone is aware. But no, I don't see any conflicts at all. In fact, if anything, I see a strengthening of the partnerships for me to be able to see things to say, I think we can help with that, or we can help get to somebody that can help with that a little more quicker because I'm more actively involved.
Well, I certainly appreciate your willingness to serve and continue to make our community a better place, and appreciate you being here.
Appreciate the opportunity. Thank you for considering.
Thank you. So I remember a meeting that we had, I think it was in Bern Township, a couple years ago when we were doing the appointments to the Adam Board, and we had 4 or 5 really outstanding candidates who had really compelling stories. And I think Commissioner Davis has referred to that meeting as probably the most moving meeting that he's ever been a part of. And I kind of feel like that today. Anytime that we have openings like this and we have 4 truly great candidates, all of whom would serve really well, I feel like we're blessed, right? That we have people in our community who are willing to step up and give their time and talent to these volunteer boards. It just makes our county stronger, and I am deeply appreciative of all 4 of you, and look forward to working with all of you as we go forward.
Mr. President,
Yes.
just so the candidates might have some reasonable expectation. You say 1 week or 2?
I think we'll vote on this next week. So by the end of the day, next Tuesday, everybody should know where we stand on this.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all again for being here today. All right, it's time for public comments. Because there's 47 of you, we're going to limit it to 3 minutes. Who would like to go first? Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Anyone else who would like to address the commission this morning? Okay, please step up to the podium, state your name and address, and give us your 3 minutes.
Hello, my name is Sue Mazzarini. I reside at 1808 Black Lake Road Northwest, Baltimore, Ohio. So why am I here? Good question. It's my understanding that your commission works very closely with the Board of Elections. I am confident that we will all agree that fair, free elections are a part of the fabric of our great nation. As a citizen, I wanted to do something rather than sit on the sidelines and complain. So I got involved. Part of my involvement included researching the voter rolls to assist the Board of Elections, in addition to working in polls, which I've done for the past few elections. In my research, I discovered voters that have moved, registered, and are now voting in another state. I took this information to the Board of Elections, which has a protocol in which to address these concerns. Challenges were submitted to the Board of Elections via 257 challenge forms for the board request, to which they scheduled a hearing. The hearing was scheduled and attended by the prosecutors, the deputy assistant deputy director, and the Board of Election members. Challenges were voted upon by the board members, which resulted in a tie vote, which was along the party lines, which in that case requires this information for resolution be sent to the Secretary of State. The Secretary of State decision, which was an overall denial, but it was because there were two voters that seemed to be re-registering back and forth between that state and Ohio. But he did say in his letter back to the board that if this needs to be addressed and re-voted upon, and if it came back to him, his vote would be to uphold my findings. And I do have the letter from the Secretary of State. I appeared at the December meeting and during the public comments section, and I asked the status of my NCOAs, which are people that have moved, registered, and voted in other states. They told me that these were sent to the prosecutors for review. My question is, the SOS, Secretary of State, was clear in his response, so why the delay of the removal of these voters? Ohio law requires that if a resident has moved to a new state and is subsequently registered and voted, then they have given up their right to vote in the state of Ohio, which is 3503.02, Section 8, sorry. So at this time, I feel this unnecessary delay is occurring as precludes updating voter rolls when corrections need to be made. Second issue, but working at the polls. I was notified by the polls that for a request for me to participate in working as a poll worker in the 24 general election. This requires an in-person training, which I completed per their standards. During the training, I noticed that the trainer was not training on the new directive from the SOS regarding non-citizen voter IDs. I brought this to the trainer's attention and was told that I was not to be the voter ID police. And in essence, that if this was my goal, my services may be better served with the Secretary of State. The training on non-citizens did not occur during the training session. After the meeting, I spoke to the other trainer and again, issued my concern about non-citizen training. And he told me if I pursued this line, I would not be able to work the polls and would subsequently be removed as a poll worker. With this, I filed a complaint with the Secretary of State, and subsequently, the Secretary of State told the BOE that they needed to train on the non-voter IDs section. On Monday, prior to the election, when I had not heard from my BLM, I called him, which is a voter location manager. I called him to find out why I had not gotten my assignment for voting or for working the polls. He told me that I was not on the list. And so I called the Board of Elections, and when I called them, I was transferred to the director, and he had told me that I was on speakerphone along with the assistant director. And I asked him why I was not on the listing for poll workers. And he told me that my services were no longer needed. I asked him again, I said, can you tell me why my services weren't needed? Because the BLM specifically said they would be happy to have me because I've been very useful in the past. He again said that my services were not needed. I asked if this was retaliation for me going to the Secretary of State, and he again said, your services are not needed. That's the second issue. Third issue is public hearing.
I would ask you to please conclude your remarks. We do have a 3-minute time.
Okay.
You're at 5
And then
minutes.
the last one is just the Board of Election meetings. I know you all publish them on your website. The Board of Elections do not do that. They feel it's necessary in order to find out anything about their meetings. You either have to call or physically go in. So those are concerns. I really want to work with the board, but they're kind of putting some issues that I cannot do that.
Appreciate your
Thank you for
comments. Thank you. Who else would like to address the commission this morning?
If you want the Secretary of State's letter, I can have that.
Appreciate
I
that.
would like that.
Yeah. Anyone else who would like to address the commission this morning? Going once? Yes, ma'am.
Hello, good morning. I'm going to say, first of all, thank you for just to the whole Board of Commissioners for all the time and the hard work that you've put in. I haven't been able to come back in a while, but it's fun to come. And I appreciate your effort and work. Today I'm speaking, my name is Selena McCord. I live on 8640 Ruffner Road, Northeast Millersport. And I'm just asking if you can be in unity with us to save our community and preserve our community of people, not solar industrial farms. I know you've heard me speak on this before, but we are people in our county that are looking out for others. Just this winter, I've appreciated the camaraderie of our road being full and just neighbors deciding to go ahead and plow that. The love that we have, the people extending Christmas cards and love to neighbors despite conflicts of disagreements. And I just want to say that that's the kind of community that we are. But I don't believe that we should allow any kind of company or strangers to plant themselves in our community. The chaos it would cause for them to do the solar industrial farm project work would be a big unrest for my family and my direct neighbors surrounding our property. I'm a mom of 6 kids. I homeschool, and I help my husband with his business that he runs outside of our house. So we have family balanced life. We enjoy the outdoors. We moved to the country for a reason, to enjoy the peace and the quiet. The industrial solar project of Eastern Cottontail would bring chaos and would disrupt the environment of my home, our communities, the farmers and people on my road that have livestock and farming that they do. And I understand the Board of Commissioners has the predicament of choices of some kind of growth in our county. And I appreciate that you are considering those options. But this is not the kind of growth that would help our county, I believe, because even more homes is more favorable than solar industrial farms, because we are a community of people, not panels. Solar industrial farms are not neighbors, despite what they've tried to convince us of. We get no friendly introduction of who the workers are, where they live, their character, when they plan to work around my home of 6 kids. And there's no camaraderie with them like you would have in a community of neighbors and new houses and homes like that. The solar companies are not looking out for our best interests or the farmers that they've signed leases with. They've oftentimes put the farmers in a bind with their projects. And I'm talking in general, solar companies in general that aren't going well or are going under, and then they hold the leased farmers accountable for that. The solar companies are known for offering hush money in order to rally up false support and have people write in letters that don't even live in our community. So my question is, why deplete prime farmland and change our whole county's atmosphere in hopes of making a giant solar company happy? And we're trying to, support the farmers in our county. And we are successful as a county. The farmers are doing well. So let's keep that into consideration. And just skipping through some things, but the solar industrial farms would change the look and the feel of our county for the worse. And our country needs to keep making its crops while it can. And our county is a big contributor of that in the United States. Let's be for our country, our county, and most of all the citizens that would be greatly affected by the solar industrial farm environment. And it is an environment that they would create.
Asking you to conclude.
Yes, I am right now. Thank you. Please protect our township from the Eastern Cottontail Solar Industrial Farm project by writing a letter to the Ohio Power Siting Board and protecting us like you have the 12 other townships, and support us on opposing solar industrial farm plans in our county. Thank you.
Anyone else that would like to address the commission this morning?
Good morning.
Happy New Year.
Hey, happy New Year. My name is Crystal Workman. I live at 7625 Hampson Road. I was going to piggyback on that a little bit. I mean, starting to get emotional. Money is important. I understand that. I quit a job at UPS for years to be home with my family. Money, like I said, is not everything. I think I'm a more pleasant person now. I put on a few pounds, but that's okay. But the community is what is key. I mean, I quit that job. I was going on a lot. I'm sure doctors and stuff can relate. But my family and the community is more important. I don't think you guys should take that from that community. That's it.
Thank you. Anyone else that would like to address the commission this morning? Yes, sir.
My name is Bill Yates. I'm a Walnut Township trustee. Recently, we've worked countywide for several months, thanks to Mr. Fix, on zoning questions, things that come up, and how to do it right. We have now in place that actually duplicated pretty much what we already had in place. Farmland is farmland, and residential and development is completely possible in the township. Process with zoning, is my understanding, is if I go out to buy a house in a location, I have a right to know what it's zoned. And I have reasonable expectations for that to be changed. There's a process of the local people have a say. We believe we're not having a say in this because we're skipping zoning. Bits and pieces have come back over time. This has fallen into grandfather. Several things have come along the line here that just doesn't make sense to me. Some homes in that local area that this is going to affect, the buyers aren't even told this. I know, well, we had this down in Pleasantville, we had a meeting down there. A person bought that property and was not fairly informed that it was going to be surrounded by solar. Learning the process, and I respect Mr. Davis' position because I was there not long ago, that I couldn't speak on this because I was going to be on the ad hoc. It's become too important for that. We need to get involved. So we've hired an attorney to also assist us to do. We will appoint someone else in time. And, we ask you today, my understanding is we're asking your support as you have when you made exclusionary zones to reinforce that. We understand Mr. Davis can't vote on that. Our situation was I had a person already in the land business with. Yeah. So we were down to one trustee that couldn't get a committee. That's the reason I came out of that. So we've been threatened with lawsuits. Things that are happening along the way. And unfortunately, it's for a good man, another trustee who didn't go along with that, is a neighbor of that. Now they're telling me legally there's case law that he can either be for or against because he's a direct neighbor of. Sounds pretty stupid to me, but this is what's going on out there. We're challenging the big people. We understand that. We're challenging big money. I ask you today to support the group. It will support our community. And I see too many things going wrong here. And one of them is losing the school district. We're talking about gaining jobs. We're over 50 FTEs in our school district. We have less than 500 kids, preschool through 12. Throw that in with our unique, because zoning is unique to each community, short-term rentals, and we're losing kids. It's just a fact. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Yates. Is there anyone else who would like to speak to the commission this morning?
Happy New Year, we're back. Sherry Clymer, 3464 South Bank Road, Northeast in Millersport. I printed out an article for you that you can read. I'm not going to read it, but it has to do, and it's by Isaac Orr, who has testified. I know Commissioner Davis is familiar with him. He has testified before the Energy Committee for the state of Ohio, and also testified in Pennsylvania before PJM, who's kind of gotten themselves in a pickle. And we all know that Ohio is in PJM's system as a regional transmission organization for energy. And this has to do with the electric grid itself and the upcoming rolling blackouts. I know MISO, which is the next regional transmission organization just west of us, they're predicting that within 2025 that they will be in that situation. And in 2026, that PJM, because of the accelerated closing of gas and coal plants, they're kind of in a panic. And we have, with their auction, it has gone, basically 7 times the expense of the electric rates. And so electric rates are going up. And, like I said, this has to do with the grid itself, that we can save the electric grid or the wind and solar grift, but not both. And it has some great statistics in here from the different agencies and that type of thing. So I'm just going to give this to you.
Is there anyone else who would like to address the commission this morning? Once, yes, sir, please step up. Morning.
Good morning. I'm Pastor Jim Condry, Millersport Methodist Church. I live at 11955 Lancaster Street, Millersport. I guess mine is more, I'm confused. I don't know if a question is allowed.
We don't take questions during this period. This is a time for you to make comments.
Okay, I'll make it.
Well, to ask questions, whether we answer or not.
Okay. Okay, I thought it was Sunday morning too. I'm really, I guess my confusion at that, after just hearing this thing about the grid, is my understanding that, I guess the power that's being produced by these solar panels are going to be exported. And I don't understand the benefit. When I lose private farmland, it's my understanding that once this is done, that land is pretty useless with all the concrete, steel, and everything's done. I mean, topsoil is removed, and it's a useful life, it's about 10 years for solar panels. 10 years down the line, what is this place? What kind of community will we have? I'd love to see more houses. I'd love to see more people moving to Millersport. When I retired from the church, my wife and I, we'd like to retire. Right now, I don't think we can afford the real estate. And so we're just looking to see what the future really holds for Millersport and what impact and what value. The only value I see is the landowner selling and then this company, producing electricity. As far as, any kind of benefit for our community, for this area, just don't see it. With the construction, I just foresee a mess. So, I see it in opposition.
Thank you for your comment, sir. Anyone else that would like to address the commission this morning? All right, well, we appreciate everyone coming today and hope you all have a great new year.
Mr. President.
Yeah.
But now we're at a time here in choosing, I may have some extensive comments on solar.
Fire away.
I know 99% of you folks have been paying attention over the last couple of years while this issue has been at first kind of rumored, then it bubbled up, and it became, kind of a situation. And I guess what I want you to know is how uncomfortable I am. And I just mean that in the sense that I've been a leader in the community for 30 years. And for most of those 30 years, when something was really wrong, something really needed a lot of attention, I found myself on the tip of the spear on those issues, which is where I am comfortable. And so being in a situation where I think intellectually the right thing to do is to not announce a position before a hearing has occurred. That's not a comfortable position for me. I want to shout from the mountaintops. I always do. And I'm not in this situation, and that's very uncomfortable. And I'm sorry to you folks, all of you, because I want to please. I want people to, be happy with me and like what I'm doing and all that stuff. And I know you don't. And my shoulders are broad. I'm good with that. But my intent is to serve as an ad hoc member of the Power Siting Board and to listen intently to all the evidence and the witnesses, statutes, the codes, everything I'm supposed to take into account in that, to come to a proper decision on the, will probably be, I guess, 2 projects. For 3, Sherry, I pay attention. But I guess I just wanted to share with you that I'm there, I'm paying attention, I'm doing my job. And I get the frustrations that some of y'all have with me. And I have to just see how that all turns out. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. All right, legal update, Amy.
So I don't know if you noticed, it's just me this morning. We're gonna have to kind of reconfigure how we staff meetings. We're handed right now, so. So you get January, Steve will be up in February as well. So I just want to kind of alert you to that update. You're always working on various things, and I think in the coming year, and I've talked to Bonnie about this briefly, may just do away with the update as a standing agenda item. All are able to get a hold of us whenever. I say there's nothing to update about. I always feel like that gives a bad impression that we're not doing anything, because that is the opposite. Day or time. So just a program, but that being said, Governor DeWine signed a lot of legislation to law that will be going to affect in the next 90 days. I just had a lot of it to all of their township folks. Trustee Yates is also aware 315 was approved, so we're distilling that. So we're able to update on that. So that's all I have for this morning.
So I will say that even though there's often not a legal update, that we absolutely know how hard you and your staff are working on behalf of the county and all the townships and townships that you represent, and all the other things that you do. And our appreciation for you and your team could not be stronger. So please don't ever feel like because you're called upon to give a report and you don't have one, that we're all up here wondering what you're doing, because we know.
Mr. President.
Yeah.
I want to give you a pass on that. I mean, I don't practice law anymore. When I did, I didn't shout from the mountaintops what I told my clients.
Right.
You know, so when you don't give an update, it's like, well, it kind of makes sense to me.
So yeah, I'm happy if we just kind of come up. We'll still be here, but I don't think it's a standing agenda item, just to help people out.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. All right, County Court of County Administration update.
All right, we can review here, just taking a minute to give some shout outs for the severe winter weather event we had. Thanks to county facilities team, utilities and engineers office for their outstanding work in clearing the roads and county properties. In addition, a thank you to all essential personnel, especially the sheriff's office, for their commitment to serving the public during that hazardous weather event. I think John and folks maybe started at midnight-ish. Trying to clear the road, clear the lots and the sidewalks and stuff. So appreciate that. And I know Tony and folks were out clearing the utilities property, and we all know what the engineers folks were doing. And that's where Jeremiah is this morning. He sends his regrets, but they're playing a little catch up and clean up, and he's going to feed the team today. So he sends his regrets for not being able to attend.
Is there a donation bucket for that feed?
We probably could. I think Jeremiah's doing that.
I'd like to
on
help
his
in
own.
that, if I'm right, Mr. President.
So before you do that, keep in mind that this weekend there's going to be another event. And in the past, we have bought pizzas at like 10 o'clock at night when they're getting ready to do their shift change. So I
Yeah,
would,
so I'll give somebody some money today. I won't be in town this coming weekend, but I'll do that. But I did want to say, so I'm just incredibly proud of the county engineer's office in terms of the work that they did during this recent storm. Yeah, I'm not going to beat up on anybody else, but I'll put their work up against the other jurisdictions that had to deal with the storm. I thought they did a great job. Thank you, Mr. President.
I'll give a shout out to our county engineer and to the city of Pickerington, Mr. Butcher, as a resident and constituent. My little court was plowed yesterday afternoon, and that is deeply appreciated. So please pass on my thanks to your crew.
I'll go much broader than that. I'll give everybody that did anything in Fairfield County, including John Coaches and Audie Cordell and everybody else. Thank you all for everything you did.
All right, thank you. High fives all the way around. Type 2 expedited annexation. You do have that before you today on the agenda. It's 151.9 plus or minus acres from Violet Township to the city of Pickerington. with Painter and Associates, specifically Nathan Painter as the agent for the petitioner. I know, Amy, we've had lots of conversations with the petitioner on this, and you had some thoughts you wanted to share regarding it or questions.
Well, I guess the main question, looking at statute, there's a question about the ownership piece of it, because on their petition, they're calling out 4 owners. The auditor's office during their review called out 5. I know they've sent the documents to the commissioners, but they've never corrected that underlying piece of it. Now, they don't need signatures from all 5 others, they just need signature from the majority. But my concern is the fact that the underlying numbers in dispute, and perhaps the Painter and Associates can folks can speak to that when they come on. I guess when you guys.
I think they are online right now. If we want to engage in a conversation during my report for that.
Sure, why don't we do that now?
There was also a question about the legal description, and I'm looking at the notes that Michelle was kind enough to provide. It sounds like there was going to be an updated legal. I don't think that happened.
So do we have someone from the law firm on the line?
I am here, if you can hear me.
Ken, thank you.
A little bit.
I don't know if you can see me though. I'm not very good at this, at the camera stuff. I'll see if I can see my face, but I am here.
All right, well, yeah, we appreciate you being here. So there, we have some questions, and would like to have Amy ask you those questions and see if we can get this cleared up so we can vote on it today, and if not, get it cleared up for our next meeting.
And would you mind sharing your name, sir?
It's Nathan Painter on behalf of the petitioners.
Thank you.
Painter, did you hear me?
I heard part of it.
Maybe, why don't you step up to the microphone? Hang on one second, Mr. Painter. We're getting Amy in front of a microphone so you can hear her better.
You can't see me, but I'm.
I don't know why it won't.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you.
Perfect. So I'm not sure, Nathan, if you were aware, there was a lot of back and forth with the petition. When typically we get any type of annexation petition, it is circulated with our subject matter experts like the engineer's office and the auditor's office GIS department. And our GIS department called out some of it's minor, but the biggest thing they called out is that you all had 4 owners represented on the petition, and they responded that there are actually 5. And the 5th owner is a party you guys had as an adjacent parcel owner, and they said that was not correct. And I think we've had, when I say we, Commissioner's office has gone back and forth with your office about the comments and seeing if those are going to get resolved. And I understand that not all the owners have to sign off on the petition. I guess my underlying concern is that you guys are saying it's 4, but we're saying it's 5, and I want to make sure we're all on the same page. So do we really need 3 signatures? Do we need 4 signatures? Be great to have 5, but the fact that they didn't get anything back on that. And I think there was also talk of an updated legal description coming, and I don't think they got that. So if you can kind of speak to those issues, I think that would help.
So you actually need 5. That is correct. And we did have the legal description updated, and we did address the GIS questions by the engineers. And I believe that was sent in as an amendment because we did have everything re-executed. What happened here was that the AMH development that's currently built out, during this process while we were getting signatures, AMH transferred some of their open space to the HOA and did not tell us. We did have the HOA, got their signature, and that has been submitted, my understanding, by our office to the county commissioners. So that takes up the 5th. That clears up that issue with the 5th signature. So you are right, and we did clear those issues up. So,
Okay.
Yep.
And I don't know if I think the amendment I saw, those weren't addressed. So if there was something subsequent sent, they may just have it and I don't have it. But I think as long as we're all on the same page about the number of owners, I know that was a big concern and making sure that the notations called out by the GIS were at least addressed.
The engineer's office was right. They picked it up because of that transfer. It literally happened after we got the legal description. We were not made aware, but we went back to AMH and got that HOA signature. Yep.
So Ani, do you have that?
Got it back in Michelle.
Did receive that. We didn't receive an update on the surveyors comments on the petition.
So I don't know if we have the updated legal, Nathan. Is there a way you can shoot that over?
Yeah,
Or
I can.
check to see when you sent it?
Yeah, it would have been Liz. Let me see if I can get her to do it real quick.
Okay. But that's all I had.
Right, so, for the sake of conversation, assuming that what Mr. Painter has represented here is, we're gonna have that document in your hands very shortly. Are you comfortable with us moving forward with this
Yes.
action?
Yeah,
Okay,
because they've addressed the outstanding comments, because what I had wasn't showing that, I have something called amended, but I think that was just the adjacent property owners. I didn't have what Nathan just told you. So I'm guessing with the holidays, it's just crossing streams here. But we at least wanted to at least have this conversation with you, Nathan, so I appreciate that.
Yep. Well, I'll have my office send everything back over to Rochelle, just so you have everything. So.
Perfect.
Yep.
Right. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Mr. Painter. Appreciate your participation. Don't know if you need to hang on. We go through our voting pattern, but if you'd like to, you're welcome.
Okay, I'll hang out just in case. So.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, folks.
Yep, okay, moving on here, threshold for competitive bidding and administrative approvals. This did naturally escalate by 3% January 1, 2025, from 75,000 to 77,250. Fairfield County Resolutions 2023-10.10.a and 2021-11.23.b confer contracting and financial authority of the county administrator as allowed by revised code 305.30, and then revised code 9.17 addresses the threshold for competitive bidding. So making everyone aware, and that is that 3% will occur regularly each year and will escalate along those lines. So we've sent communication out to everybody to make sure that they're aware of that. Public records requests, the Fairfield County Commissioner's Office received and processed 88 public records requests in 24, with the average response time for records retained by the commissioners was just under half a day. Fairfield Area Humane Society request for funding. Director Corey Schoonover reached back out after his July presentation to the board to request consideration of providing funding for his expansion project, specifically with costs related to site development for the project. Mr. Schoonover stated that he generally does not ask for help with expansions, but this being a new site rather than an add-on to the existing building, there were additional costs not required in his previous projects. He did provide a list of costs along with the original estimates and his request for your consideration, which is the same request he had made in July. He also stated that although there have been some cost increases, he is sticking with his original request. Total site development costs are $123,416, and Fairfield Area Humane Society is requesting consideration and assisting with site development costs in the amount of $61,708. All other improvements to the site with any overages on estimates above will be covered by them. And his total project budget is currently estimated at $375,000. I did confirm with Mr. Schoonover that, and actually it's on the agenda today for the allocations that we provide the Humane Society, that those are in place and have increased pretty much year over year for those particular program requests.
Any questions or comments on that, Commissioner Davis?
No, I mean, I don't. I think we're doing about as much as we need to do over there.
Commissioner Levesey?
I concur.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I appreciate the work that Corey and his team do. We've worked closely with them over the years, and I know that the relationship between the Humane Society and our animal control group has improved dramatically over the years, but I think he's got to find a way to fund that himself.
All right, I will follow up with him and share that information. All right, the review packet does contain a list of administrative approvals, and there are 39 resolutions on their regular agenda for voting today. There will also be a resolution walked on from the floor for your consideration. The 40th resolution is for invoices, which are more than the administrative approval threshold. Typically have this resolution on the agenda, but due to the snow emergency we had yesterday and the closure, we're having this walked on Also, there were 3 resolutions on the reorganizational meeting agenda, and due to resolution numbering, just with our resolution management system, resolutions on the irregular agenda do begin with the letter D. Resolutions of note, we have a resolution to appoint Sean Reinhardt as the county's apiarist for 2025. We are appreciative of his continued service. We have a resolution for the 2025 agreement with travel certifications, resolution amending resolution 2024.12.10.c. This was a resolution for Meals on Wheels in one of their grants, just incorrectly listed the fiscal agent there. So we're just correcting that. A resolution rescinding resolution 2024-12.10.n, and that was approving a contract with Steve Hammond Paul, and that contract needs some additional items added before final approval. John, anything on that?
No.
Okay. A resolution of necessity for the 2025 DD levy renewal. Dr. Uhl had presented previously that this would be forthcoming. Dr. Uhl, do you want to add anything to that?
Consideration.
And then we will have a follow-up resolution after that. That will be the second phase in that process. Let's see here. Resolution authorizing allocations for the 2025 Fairfield County Area Humane Society and for municipal court. Resolution authorizing the county administrator to approve agreements and documents for the program year 2024 CDBG grants. There are 5 permission to travel resolutions from the auditor, the clerk of courts, the engineer, the recorder, and the treasurer. These resolutions grant the elected officials and their staff permission to travel to attend conventions and meetings pursuant to revised code 325.20. The resolution from economic development to approve a community reinvestment area agreement with Basel Western Logistics LLC. I see Anthony's here and Rick. Anthony, do you want to add anything to that?
This is just for the Basel Western Logistics project along Basel Western Road to get them into the community reinvestment area. That's already along that corridor, so that will just finalize that.
Thank you. We also have a resolution from the engineer's office to establish a no parking zone at the Hill Road and Waterloo Road intersections. Cars that are parked along the southeast and southwest corners of this intersection are creating traffic issues for northbound drivers on Waterloo Road. Another resolution from the engineer's office is for a change order for the Refugee Road intersection safety improvements projects. This is the 4th change order and accounts for increased quantities of items being used. A resolution from facilities for an agreement with McDaniel's Construction for security barrier at the sheriff's office and jail. Been working on this for a period of time to have that implemented. We are continuing to progress. Anything else on that, John?
Excited to get started.
And when will they actually begin with? Do we have a date for that?
Weather is depending now, but almost immediately.
Okay,
Today.
not today.
First step is underground, so.
We also have a resolution from regional planning for a change order for the Op Park CDBG program year 2022 project in Pleasantville. This change order will allow for a new completion date and for the purchase of needed additional materials. Josh was here. Yep. Josh, you have anything on that?
Yeah, that just extends the time because we anticipate it's weather. But we anticipate them being able to complete the project by the substantial completion date. And then there were some upgrades to materials for the concession stand, as well as the village wanted to construct additional dugouts on field there, so those will.
Okay. Well, thank you, Josh, and the rest of the team for the work on those projects. Appreciate that. Resolution from the sheriff's office to approve an agreement with Trinity Services Group for food services for inmates at the jail. And last one of note here is Community Action has submitted 2 resolutions, one for the 2025 CFLP contract for recycling services and education, and one to authorize a community housing and preservation program mortgage for Jenna Miller. And we have our new Lancaster Fairfield Community Action Agency Director, Randall Hunt. Congratulations and welcome, Randall. Anything you want to add on those 2?
No, just with the home rehabship program. So this first unit, we have a unit goal of 4 rehabs. This one is ready to go to construction. We have 3 others that are close to getting contracts.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you for stepping up and for your willingness to serve. We look forward to great things from you there.
And thanks to Jennifer for her work on the CFLP. We appreciate her as well. Budget review. Art, do you have anything?
No updates this week.
All right, Jeff Porter, our Deputy County Administrator.
Could I ask a question on budget?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just curious, I don't know if Jim or Bart, one of you two might know this number off the top of your head, but I didn't see, I'm sure it was sent to me, but the final investment revenue number.
I have that. We talked.
$12.
I'll have Jeff do his and then we'll circle back to Bart while he's looking
Great.
that up.
Right now. It's 9,163,527 for the general fund. It was higher than the estimate by 463,000.
Bart shaking his head. Jeff Porter is going to give us an update on our health insurance budget.
Sure, thank you. Last year, we took some significant changes in order to right-size the budget based upon the inflationary pressures that we were seeing in the healthcare market, which included a 5% overall increase to the health insurance for our employees. We also took some significant plan design changes with our prescription drugs and some other areas within the plan in order to make sure that the cost sharing was appropriate, and also to make sure that we had enough money to cover the ending coming year. And so we got our final figures last week looking at 2024, and we were in the place that we needed to be. We broke even as close as we could get to breaking even. We were $31,000 ahead based upon our budget. So that was a good place to be for that year. We've also taken steps with our stop loss fund to make sure that that is be secure for the coming year. And we're in a good spot right now. Thank you.
Any questions for Jeff?
Not for Jeff, but I want to circle back to the 9.1 because for a second it confused me.
Yep.
But is that in part because of the, I don't know, I want to call it $1 million we spent to buy down the future debt or investments?
The gross number, if you will, was 9.3 million, and the 9.1 million is after our allocation, where we have to allocate interest out to various entities.
Right.
And you're correct in that bond swap, which was 1.1 million, that had not occurred, we would have been at 10 million.
And that makes sense to me, and I appreciate all that because that good financial decision will benefit in the out years, but costs us $1 million here. So, thank you, Bonnie.
All right, moving on. Rochelle, I think you're going to give us a consolidated version here of calendar review and invitations received.
I am, thank you. The Regional Planning Commission has a meeting today at 6 p.m. at the Record Center. The Board of Revisions reorganizational meeting is January 13th at 9 a.m. And the Records Commission reorganizational meeting is incorrectly listed. It is at 8:30 a.m. on the 14th, and the meeting will follow at 8:35 a.m. that day. There are 22 pieces of correspondence that are listed on the review agenda. You can see them there, and if you do not have a copy of the agenda, they will land in minutes. That's it.
So just so I'm clear, January 14th, our Records Commission meeting is at 8:30, and then we will start this meeting at 8:35. Is that
No,
right?
the reorg meeting
The
is at
reorg meeting
8:30.
for the Records Group is at
Yeah.
8:30, and the Records Commission will meet at 8:35.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. This group will meet at 9.
Correct.
Okay.
Full Tuesday.
Uh-huh.
That's all, Commissioner.
Full business, Commissioner Levesey.
I hope everybody had a wonderful and prosperous Christmas and New Year, and I wish everybody health and well-being in 2025. It's now getting used to saying 2025, how quickly it come, right?
Full business, Commissioner Davis.
I also hopeful that everybody enjoyed their holidays. I'm excited about one gift that I got, and I want to tell you about it.
for my birthday in October, my son got me a book called Green Lights, written by Matthew McConaughey. It is a bit of a biography, but it's also a way of life. So anyway, started reading that book. And then for Christmas, he got me this leather-bound, empty book with the pages were all blank. And as he gave that book to me for Christmas, he asked me to write it all down. So I'm excited about that gift, and I'm looking forward to it. And having a son asking for something like that is pretty cool. So gonna do that. That's it for now. Thank you.
Do you think there's a chance that the word ameliorate make it into that book?
No, man, I'm gonna keep it to the quarter words.
New business, Commissioner Davis.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the Buckeyes. So before the Oregon game, I took a little bit of a flyer and went ahead and bought tickets to the Cotton Bowl. Turns out all right. So looking forward to heading out Thursday night and cheering for our Buckeyes from the stadium. If you see me out there, take video because I'll be doing things I wouldn't dare do around here.
So.
In Dallas.
I'll pray for you.
Oh crap, thank you, Pastor.
Sure, we all do.
Doesn't hurt to have one more.
Commissioner Levis, any new business?
So, this is something, it's been stewing for a little while, working with, Michael Kreitz. I don't know if everybody knows Michael, but he's well known. Colonel Tom Moe, Veteran Services. And, I was privileged to be inducted into the Military Hall of Fame. And quite frankly, it's probably one of the most humbling things I ever went through. But it also came up that Fairfield County does not have a Military Veterans Hall of Fame. Many other counties do. So conversations with Colonel Moe, Mike Kreitz, and others that I would like to be part of with a larger group to start developing a nonprofit to do a Veterans Hall of Fame for Fairfield County, because we have many amazing people who have served, Tom Moe being one. But there's been 17 veterans inducted into the State Hall of Fame since its inception. William Tecumseh Sherman is actually one of them. We've had a couple Congressional Medal of Honor winners going back even to the Civil War. So what I'm asking is of my colleagues is to support that. And it won't be in a financial way, because we expect to put together a 501(c) as a nonprofit and be able to raise money for that endeavor, but to actually house that here in this building. And it would probably be in the form of utilizing some of the wall space on the first floor. So that's my ask.
Well, I think that is a great idea, and I'm looking forward to supporting you in that effort. That's really cool.
I support that as well. I'm very thankful for your service and wish I had my own as well.
I think it's an appropriate time to recognize the passing of one of our Veterans Commission commissioners, Al Mueller, passed away this past week. Didn't have a chance to know Mr. Mueller, but everything I've heard from Mark Russell, our director there, and others, so he was a great man and provided great service to our community. So I just want to recognize that. My only new business is how excited I am for 2025. Each year that I've served here, this is the starting of my 7th year here with my 2 mentors here. Each year seems to get a little bit better. We seem to get a little bit more in sync and tighter in how we're running our operation here, and able to look at really big picture stuff that will have long-lasting generational impacts in our community. And that's the kind of stuff that excites me and drives me. And the fact that we're in a position to address those kinds of generational issues is a big deal. And 25 is going to provide even more opportunity to do that. So I'm really excited for the new year. I know every year brings its ups and downs and good days and bad days, but on a whole, 2024 was amazing, and I think 25 is going to be even better. So I'm looking forward to it. Elected officials, Mr. Bonson.
Morning, happy new year to everyone. I want to give a shout out, sure we did, to the folks that have built snow that we had, besides the excellent work they did on the roads and that the communications, which is excellent, letting everybody know where things stood and just finding guesswork on it. Working with the auditor's office to get certification of the taxes. Once that process is completed, and start printing tax bills.
Lisa.
Morning. So in December, I had the opportunity to meet with our partner relations manager with Fiddler. That's our vendor that we do our recordings with. We've got some great prospects for 2025 coming up to make our recording process even more efficient for those who are doing the recordings. So I'm looking forward to that. And again, to piggyback on what Chip Bonson said, the communication was just outstanding. We've never had such great communication between our sheriff, our county administrator, our EMA. It was flawless. It was wonderful to have those updates constantly, and it's just very, very much appreciative.
Yeah, we should give a shout out to Ani, who started Sunday afternoon. Thursday. I can't remember now. My days are all running together, but there were a lot of calls and texts and emails and coordinating between the sheriff and our EMA and engineer and utilities and all that. You know, for us, you know, we're at home and we say, yeah, that makes sense, or sure, let's try this. There's a whole lot of work that goes into generating all that communication, making sure that it's accurate, making sure that it's timely, and just want to express my appreciation, Ani, for you and all that work that went into that. So thank you.
Well, my partner on the road is John, so I appreciate him.
Mr. President, if I might.
Yes.
I want to comment on that as well. There was a meeting, I don't think it was in person, but whatever it was, I think sometime around 6 or 6:30, I want to say it was Sunday night. Was there a meeting that time? 6 or 6:30 Sunday night. National Ocean Briefing. Yeah, but you all were in some kind of decision-making point at that time. But anyway, they were thinking about closing county offices Monday at around 6, at a 6 o'clock discussion on Sunday, staff was. And they didn't. And I know that would have been really nice for everybody to know, like 6 o'clock the night before, hey, you know, offices are closed. But how many times have we here in Fairfield County got that weather forecast?
Yeah.
That says 5 to 9. We'll wake up to a dusting. And so we were worried about that. I mean, we were watching all the forecasts. We knew what all the radars said, but I just think y'all did a really good job and handled that really well. And thank you.
All right. Clerk Brenda Meyer.
Happy to hear. Again, I would like to reiterate what the others said about the notification. My staff starts at 7 o'clock. So in years past, decisions weren't made till after my staff sometimes left already. So the decision to close was made by 6 o'clock, was very much appreciated by the staff. So they, not leaving or not on their way to work. So thank you very much. We're in the final stages of implementing our e-filing. So right now we're just at the mercy of our credit card vendor. So that will be coming soon, and we're pretty excited for that.
Dr. Brad.
Well, particularly for those that work outside of the county, live outside of the county, have to drive a long distance. There's a lot of terrible weather in Hockey and Perry. McLean, we have a lot of those drive from that area, so that's very helpful. One of the things that we wanted to do several years ago is to make sure that the estimated revenues were actually on target and we're closer to actual revenues so that when time comes that's more meaningful, when the carryover balances are more restricted, that we would have a strong process in place for that. We closed 2024 at 104.9% of the estimated receipts, which is about the sweet spot of where we should be. I just wanted to recognize that sales taxes were lower, property taxes were higher, kind of balanced each other out. Everything else was as expected. With the exception of conveyance fees being a little higher for some anomalies there, some condominiums that were conveyed within the year, at the latter part of the year. Year end is going very well, very proud of staff for the very hard work, but against the state assessment side and coordination, collaboration, monitoring legislation, monitoring House bills that are yet to be signed, as well as the Joint Committee on Property Taxes. Very pleased to see the homestead improvements made it to that report, which was my favored improvements for property taxes, and it leads that report. So that's very encouraging. There are many things in that report. I don't know what will actually come to pass in legislation, but can very well see that it is a technical report where there's been a lot of attention to that, and there's a motivation to make some changes. Back the month is for blessing boxes and little libraries. We do have members of the community have reached out to us to make sure that these are listed on the map, so appreciate that. Still time to vote for the map of the year 24. Won't say what's taking the lead as not to.
You did say last meeting.
I know, but I said it to you. I'm not going to say it here broadly.
So I just want to comment on the estimation that you all do and the different degree of accuracy that we experienced today than we did in years past with your predecessor. And I understand, his desire to keep things ultra conservative. This approach that is much more accurate is deeply appreciated by the commission. So thank you. All right, Tony, what do you got? That's it? Rick, I'll say it like Dave said. Rick always has something to say.
Just two things. Since our last commissioner meeting, we did have our economic development update, which is a great event at the Workforce Center. Nearly 200 people there, and a lot of deep dive into demographics and stats that our county and region are seeing. And I thought it was going to be a little dry, and I don't know how many people afterward brought up like, "Can I get that presentation? I want more details." So it was nice to see that thirst for knowledge. And then I want to pass on thanks, appreciation to Aaron Kennedy, Transit, jumped in, and thank you to Donnie and John with all their help. And just getting the buses off the road yesterday, we're back out there today, and making sure we are staying safe and keeping employees safe. And, it's a whole new element to what we're doing with transit. So we got that first one out of the way.
All right, thank you, Rick.
Thanks for all the appreciations. They did a great job. And I just want you to remember this when we get it wrong the next time, and there is a dusting. That this time we were really good, but the next time it's not. Who knows?
So I'm assuming the weather is the reason you haven't had your haircut. Is that?
Or shaved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or slept much. Yeah.
Has it been snowing for a month?
So listen, all seriousness, I know that you were out at 4 a.m.
Sure.
I know you were probably out well past midnight. So your lack of sleep is understood and deeply appreciated by the commission.
Actually was on TV as well.
Managed to get and Garrett had his first. He had his first on-camera audio interview, which I made him do because I needed a nap. And he was a little shaky. He was a little worried about it, but he did a great job.
It's good.
Yeah, the image of John White who's on Channel 4 was his headshot in a suit. Which
I was
gets
actually-
even further from what he actually was doing.
Tiffany's desk on the first floor, and my hair was like this, and they wanted a Zoom. I can't do a Zoom right now. I'm sorry. Here's a picture.
Well, thank you for representing Fairfield County with your picture.
And again, sheriff's office and the engineer's office, ODOT, townships, everybody really. Because to have that amount of snow and quickly turn it around and be able to get people back midday even yesterday is a huge undertaking.
So I was working from home yesterday and had the Weather Channel on most of the day on one of the TVs, and they were talking about another event similar to this one coming through this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Is that what you're hearing?
Yeah, I mean, the great thing with snow is it is unpredictable until it gets past the Rockies. So once they know what happens to Kansas City, then we can kind of guess what happens to us.
Okay,
That's what you want.
so winter is here. Dan Neely,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Dan. Thank you for all your work. Corey?
I had previously talked about the prevalence of theft of the SNAP benefits, food assistance benefits. I wanted to give a quick update on that. It continues to be very prevalent. But we also previously had the ability to replace those benefits. There was a federal program that allowed for us to replace those benefits when they were stolen. That has expired. So no longer are customers getting those benefits replaced if they are stolen. I also just this morning received an email from the state that they, on the prosecution front, they indicted someone in New York, a grocery store owner in New York, who had is apparently involved in some of that defrauding to the tune of $125,000 and almost 400 different transactions that occurred at his grocery store. So he's been indicted on 4 different felonies. So, try to hold some of these folks accountable.
So I remember you're giving a presentation on that. We're talking about almost like an identity theft thing where people are stealing benefits from people who deserve those benefits. And I don't remember the number that you talked about. What kind of dollar figure are we talking about in Fairfield County?
I can get that number, but it's enormous.
Yeah.
We've had a lot in Fairfield County. Statewide, it has been, well, actually, nationwide. But it's very prevalent, and they have been very slow to be able to stop it because there's so many different ways that people are doing it. Largely, it's at the point of sale itself at those terminals. They're putting some device on the terminal that allows them to steal the number and the PIN number and the card number to then use those. But if you have a retailer like this grocery store owner who's involved in that, then it makes it
Sure. Okay. Anything else?
That's all.
Thank you. Jeff?
Just to remind everybody, the dog shelter, we have plenty of dogs available for adoption. And our staff did go in yesterday to take care of everybody, braved the weather and went out, and so we thank them for doing that.
So I just want to say, as I mentioned, 24 was a great year. This staff here and those who aren't here, I feel really good about the work that we all did as collectively as a team. And you guys, do almost all that work, just sit up here and talk about it. So thank you to each and every one of you for all the great work that you did last year. It's really appreciated. All right, anything else before we go vote?
There will be an additional walkthrough resolution. We noticed one was missing, but Rochelle will tell you about that.
All right, we're gonna go up top.
Pledge of the
Let's again.
Bottom's not even.
Please rise if you're able and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So are there any announcements?
I have 2 announcements. I just received an email from Painter and Associates with the revised plat and survey. So I believe everything that we anticipated should be provided to us has been. Second announcement, there will be 2 resolutions walked on for your consideration. One has to do with the payment of invoices, and the other with an appointment, and I will read those when we get to them.
Okay. Looking for a motion for the approval of minutes of December 10th, 2024. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Motion is approved. Sorry, Rochelle, you take it from here. It's
All
been a
right.
bit since I've done this.
Under the Commissioners, Resolution 2025-1.7.d, a resolution to approve the appointment of an apiary inspector for Fairfield County for 2025.
So under Commissioners, I move resolutions D through O.
Discussion. I appreciate, Amy, your conversation with Mr. Painter to get that cleared up so we could have the right documents on file as we move past this.
Just so you all are aware, I was actually going through the packet for that annexation. The amended was bigger by the township, so there is a correct petition in play. Those references 5 owners. It was been updated, so you guys should.
Okay, thank you for that. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Davis? Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From the Fairfield County Auditor, Resolution 2025-1.7.p, a resolution granting Dr. Carrie Brown, County Auditor, and staff permission to attend.
So moved.
Second. Discussion? I don't know why we have to do this. I know it's a state law, but it's silly. Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, Resolution 2025-1.7.q, a resolution to approve a memo expense memo receipt for the cost of transportation for individuals paid to Lancaster Fairfield Public Transit as a memo expenditure for Fund 2060.
Under Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, I move resolutions Q and R.
Discussion. I'll just say that I was taken by the 4 candidates for the board position today and echo Commissioner Davis's sentiments about how, years ago, it wasn't always like that, and we're blessed in this county to have a lot of people who want to serve. So, David, we look forward to appointing 2 people to your board next week. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. Fairfield County Clerk of Courts, Resolution 2025-1.7.s, a resolution granting Brandon Myers, the Fairfield County Clerk of Courts, and staff permission to attend.
So moved.
Discussion. I think if we all vote no on this, Brandon has to stay next door every day next year, right?
Yeah, and then you can stop declaring surplus.
Okay, any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From Fairfield County Economic and Workforce Development, Resolution 2025-1.7.t, a resolution to approve a community reinvestment area agreement with Basel Western Logistics LLC, a Kentucky limited liability company.
Under Fairfield County Economic and Workforce Development, I move resolutions T and U.
Discussion?
As a follow-up, this will be a spec building. They're already looking for tenants, so construction should start this spring. 600,000 square feet total, 2 buildings, and a minimum of 100 jobs. Probably double that. But
Appreciate your and Anthony's work on that. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From Fairfield County Emergency Management Agency, Resolution 2025-1.7.e, resolution authorizing the approval in advance from the general fund to EMA Fund 2890 Hazardous Materials Emergency Planning Grant.
So moved.
Discussion.
Again, is our training program for the next year.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From the Fairfield County Engineer, Resolution 2025-1.7.w, a resolution granting Jeremiah Up, County Engineer, and staff permission to attend.
Under Fairfield County Engineer, I move resolutions W through double E.
Discussion. Hearing none, roll call please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From Fairfield County Facilities, Resolution 2025-1.7.FF. A resolution authorizing the approval of lease amendment number 1 with Congressman Troy Balderson at the Fairfield Center.
Under Fairfield County Facilities, I move resolutions double F and double G.
Discussion.
Happy to continue the relationship there at the Fairfield Center. It's been a great relationship there. And then also bring that jail project.
So I want to just give a shout out to Brandon Meyer for working with Congressman Balderson a couple years ago to cement that relationship. And it's an honor for us to host a congressman's district office in Pickerington. So thank you for that. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From Fairfield County Health Department, Resolution 2025-1.7.HH. A resolution to authorize the establishment of a budget stabilization fund for the Fairfield County Health Department.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis? Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. For the Fairfield County Recorder, Resolution 2025-1.7.II. A resolution granting Lisa McKenzie, Fairfield County Recorder, and staff permission to attend.
So moved.
Discussion. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis? Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. For Fairfield County Regional Planning Commission, Resolution 2025-1.7.JJ. A resolution to approve a change order number 1 for the CDBG PY 2022 Village of Pleasantville Hot Park Concessions and Restroom Pavilion Project.
Under Fairfield County Regional Planning Commission, I move resolutions JJ and KK.
Discussion. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. For the Fairfield County Sheriff, Resolution 2025-1.7.LL. A resolution to appropriate from unappropriated a major expenditure object category for Sheriff's Office Fund 2711, continuous professional training.
Under Fairfield County Sheriff, I move resolutions double L and double M.
Discussion. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From the Fairfield County Treasurer, Resolution 2025-1.7.NN. A resolution granting the Fairfield County Treasurer, James N. Bonson, and Treasurer staff permission to travel and attend during 2025.
So moved.
Discussion. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis? Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion
vote,
passes
please.
3-0. From the Lancaster Fairfield Community Action Agency, Resolution 2025-1.7.00, a resolution to enter into a contract between Fairfield County and the Lancaster Fairfield Community Action Agency for recycling and education services for 2025.
Under Lancaster Fairfield Community Action Agency, I move resolutions double O and double P.
Discussion. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. Your first resolution that we're walking on for your consideration would be Resolution 2025-1.7.QQ, a resolution authorizing the approval of payment of invoices for departments that need Board of Commissioners approval.
So moved.
Discussion. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis? Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. Second resolution being walked on for your consideration, Resolution 2025-1.7.RR. A resolution approving the appointment of the Fairfield County Administrator to the Downtown Lancaster Special Improvement District Board and the Destination Downtown Lancaster Board.
So moved.
Discussion. Because you didn't have enough going on already. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis? Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. The next regular meeting is scheduled for January 14th at 9 a.m.
Is there any further business before the commission this morning? Hearing none, I'm looking for a motion.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you all very much for coming today.